Hi, welcome back. It's time to do the tarot. Now, I've already gone and done the shuffling and laid the cards out, and I'm really sorry for those of you who like to see the cards being laid, but you're just going to have to take my word for it that these are the cards that popped out. And the reason that I say that is, having just already done the astrology and now seeing these cards, it's like, wow. Okay, so let's get going. I'm using the Celtic cards and I really like them. But being brand new, they're also a little bit shiny. So I'm going to hold the cards up so you can see what the cards are, and I'll hold them there for a period of time. Don't hesitate to stop to have a good look at the cards if you need to. Okay. This is the card from the bottom of the deck, and it's the Druid. Okay. So the Druid is what we're looking at here, and the way that I'm interpreting the Druid is, of course, the High Priestess, and we're having a look at, or the High Priest, because that's what the Druids were into. They were totally into that. And the atmosphere of this one is looking at pathways and the pathway that you are on. And what we're looking at here is reflection, self-reflection, going inside and having a good look at the messages, and trust and faith about the messages. So it's trusting in more. What we've got there is we've got two people looking at each other, and in some instances they're a little bit reflecting each other, unsure about where to go. And we've also got the snake. And the snake is all about healing. All right. And of course the snake is also about messages. All right. So have a good look at that. We're talking about pathways. We're talking about messages coming through. We're talking about healing, and we're talking about the need to go inside and listen and take some time out for ourselves to think about the messages we're being given and what they mean for us. And it's also talking about opportunity, because that pathway, that direction, it's fully lit. And it's right there, and it's encompassing everyone. Everybody is on that path. All right? So it's there for you. When we go in to have a look at the cards, and the cards are really fantastic in terms of reflecting opportunities for us, and that's what I really like. The first card to come out, and this absolutely flew out of the pack, is the Page. And this is the Page of Cauldrons, or the Page of Cups. So this is new messages about what we value and what's important to us. And we discussed how Venus is moving into Pisces, joining Chiron and joining the Sun. Pisces is a bit busy right now, but it's a great place for this all to be. And what it's thinking about is messages for us, yeah, about what we value. Now, Mercury has also gone retrograde in Pisces, or will go retrograde in Pisces. So when Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces, and remember, Mercury is the messenger from above and below, right? He can pass between two worlds, the living and the dead, or hell and heaven, depending on how you want to see it. But he was definitely the messenger that could pass between two worlds. All that happens when Mercury is in retrograde is, yeah, the communication does go a bit awry at times. But what will happen is that you'll get what we call trigger messages. So maybe it's not a direct statement that comes to you, it's going to be slightly hidden, but that message is going to send you on a thought process, and it's going to set you on a new direction if you want it to be. So anything that comes that makes you feel unsettled, or anything that comes and makes you think, but it's do I, don't I, should I? Just spend a little bit of time with it. Yeah, just spend a little bit of time with it, because messages are coming. Following on from that, we get the Knight of Cauldrons and Knights of Cups. And again, see, the raven, the spirit messenger, is sitting with him. The raven is the messenger. So what we're looking at here is, again, a second message about what values we hold and what's important to us, and are we living those values, and are they being reflected back to us? And this is the card of action. So it's a card of taking the steps towards making sure that the values internally are reflecting how we portray ourselves and how we behave externally. Yep. So expect some messages around that. Our external reflection of who we are, versus our internal knowledge of who we are and our values. All right. The other thing I'll just say to you about values is that we don't always hold true the values that we had when we were younger right through to when we're adult. Things change for us, and so they should. So as your life changes, as things move, your values should move. So this could also be a bit of a wake-up call for you if you haven't sat down and examined some of your values, and your values are how you evaluate the world around you and how you evaluate your interaction with the world around you. They're really important. So if we haven't sat down and thought about what our values are, now is a really good time to do it, because some of our values we might need to tweak. Some of our values we might say that no longer holds for us. That's not relevant now in my life now. So that's a signal. We have to change it. Okay. What comes after that comes the death card. And what's fascinating about this death card, have a little look. There's 4 images of people within this one. There's some in the background there. One of them is someone naked lying there with their crown off them, looking, to all intents and purposes, dead. So we're talking really about death here. And we've got other 2 begging. One's offering flowers, one's got their hands open to the god of death. Okay. What's interesting about the person lying down is that they're naked and their crown has fallen off them. Okay, so that's real change. Yeah? So the crown represents, the king, the queen. I know what I'm doing. I really think I know what I'm doing. But here they are lying naked and they've lost the crown. So what that is suggesting is something about you that you really thought was important, that you really thought was fundamental, that you had integrated fully in your life. It's no longer serving you. Yep. And you're going to be stripped of it. You're going to be stripped of your crown, you're going to be stripped of your clothing. And then you're going to be left, it says they're begging for the change. Begging for the change. Okay. If you embrace the change, you don't have to be begging for the change to stop or the change to go away. So this is talking about change happening even if you're not really happy for it to happen, but it's on your path to happening. And it's talking about renewal. And it's asking someone to grant you something. Now, behind death sits a light, sits a flare. All right? And even in their hands are lit. So it's actually saying to you, of course, it's always darkest before the dawn, or that particular saying. So change is upon us. This change is going to change how you see yourself reflected in the world around you. You could easily lose your crown. You could easily lose your clothing. And it's saying that you might have to think about who you are and how that is reflected around you. Right? So that's the change that's coming up. The death card. Whoops, down she goes. All right. Coming on from that, we get another knight, and this is the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands. And Wands is talking about the external world. So this is another knight. It's young, it's new, it's change, it's growth, it's going forward, and it's talking about the world around you. So we've had 2 knights. We've had the Knight of Cups, chalices, cauldrons, talking about what we value and a change happening with that. And now we've got the Knight of Wands, which is something new about how we see ourselves and how we present ourselves to the world around us. Yep. And that is coming after the change in the values. Okay. Following on from that, we also now have the 4 of Cups. And when we have a look at the 4 of Cups, we talk about the 3rd cup being an opportunity, the 4th cup being an opportunity being handed to us by the hand of God. And if you have a look at this person, they are not reaching out for that cup. They are so not interested in that cup. So again, what we're talking about here is something that could easily be being offered to us, a perspective, some information, a change, an opportunity. And we are thinking we're either not ready for it, or we're not interested in it, or it doesn't fit with who we are. So there's an opportunity that's going to be presented to us, And most of us, when we see it, we're not going to like it at all. We're going to go, no, that's not what I'm after. That is not what I'm after at all. Okay, so that's the opportunity. Or we're not going to see it as being valid for us, or not going to see it full stop. What's interesting after we get the Four of Cups is that the last card out is the Four of Wands. So we've got two doubles, two knights, and we've got two fours. And the Four of Wands is talking about being happy with what we have. But you see, it's in partnerships. Fours are normally really stable. Sometimes they are stuck. But this Four of Wands is not talking about being stuck. It's talking about being quite happy with where we are and what the opportunities that are around us look like. Okay. But if we put the Four of Wands and then we add the Devil card in, or the Change card, the Death card, not the Death card, the Death change, it's saying that there's a change coming, and we could be very resistant to that change, and we might not want to take that change because we're really comfortable. Now, if we add that up too, and we've got double fours, the Four of Cauldrons, the Four of Cups, Four of Opportunities, Four of what we value, and something's being offered to us that is something that we value. And then we've got the Four of Wands, so that's us being really, really comfortable. Can you see why we might be reluctant to take on this opportunity? Because we're thinking, it's okay, we're good now, I'm good now, I've got everything I want, life is pretty easy, I'm really comfortable with what I want. Okay, why should I take up that? Okay, now, and that could be quite valid for you, providing you're not having these tensions and it's not uncomfortable about your external world and your internal world. So it's not uncomfortable about who you are and how that's being reflected back at you. Yeah? As long as you're not uncomfortable, then there might be no need for you to do that. But if something or someone is giving you an opportunity, why would you not want to take it? Now, what is interesting about this is we're getting mirror images. So, we've got two knights talking about change, and change is coming. Yep. We've got two cards talking about messages. One is saying something new about how we value is coming in, and the other one is we're going to get a message because we're going to be made to feel really uncomfortable. And we're going to be given the opportunity, if not squeezed a little bit with those tensions, to make a change. And that change is going to change how we see ourselves and how we're reflected in the outside world. Yeah, okay. Lack of clothing. Clothing, remember, clothing is often associated with identity. It's how we badge ourselves, it's how we tag ourselves, as is the crown is a representation of us being at a high point in our life. We've mastered it, we're respected for it, and we're given great dignity. But remember, nothing really stands still. And if you stand still and everything around you moves, you could be sitting there with your crown still on. But that crown is being replaced by somebody else wearing a better one or a bigger one or a more relevant one for this time. Yeah? So that's the fear and that's the danger of standing still, is that everything around you is moving. You've got to be pretty comfortable with yourself to stand still while everything else around you moves. All right. And then what's interesting is we've got the two lots of the Four of Cups. What is most interesting, is we've got pairs, three pairs. We've got the Knight of Cups and the Four of Cups together. Change, being offered, timely, Knight of Wands, Four of Wands, change, being offered, feeling pretty comfortable where I am. So what we've got here is change coming in about who we are and how we value ourselves and how that's reflected in the world. Yeah? Very good. And this card is often reflected as the Victory card. And if you have a look at this, can you see that he's being supported with wands behind him? Yeah? So normally when you're being supported, that is the Victory card. People are behind you. People are supporting you. Okay. So this is actually a doubling up message. It's saying you're going to be offered something that you value, and you're going to be asked to take it on so you can be more solid about who you are in the world. And that's really, very simply, what the message is. And the environment around that is just this: new paths, new beginnings, healing, going inside yourself, following the path. Okay? And I think that message is pretty simple. Change is coming. We're going to be offered something. We may or may not like what we're going to be offered. That's always a possibility, right? And we have the opportunity to say yes or we say no. But what they're asking you to do is, before you turn it down, have a good look at it. Have a good think about it. And even before you take it, have a good think about it. Have a good think about it. Because it's definitely some time to change. It's time to change the external with the internal and get them aligned and get them working together. Okay? So that's the cards. Okay. You want to get in contact with me and find out more about these changes that are happening, because there's a lot going on. Please get in contact with me either through Facebook, Emerald Blue Phoenix, or through my website to do with meditation, Sanctuary for the Soul, your mind retreat, and then I can be working with you. And that'll be great to do. We can do a private reading. This is all a general read. Some of it will resonate with you, some of it won't. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it does or doesn't. It's always really good to take some time out and have a good think about your life and if it's working for you or it's not working for you. Okay? Have a really good couple of weeks, and I'll be back to see you after the full moon. And this should take you through to the 6th of March. 26th of Feb, 6th of March. All right. Have a really good time. The astrology is there if you want to check it out. And happy if you want to get in contact with me and start working. All right. Enjoy the end of Aquarius, movement into Pisces. I think February is all of Aquarius. That's me, because I am Aquarian. Bye.